What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pinpointe Unfiltered. I'm Rachel.
And it's your boy, Josh, the realtor of realtors. What's going on, guys? I feel like it's been some
been a
time
minute.
since we did this. Who is this lovely lady that we're seeing for the second time? Remind the guests, Rach.
Wait, she's been on the show before? No?
Yeah.
No,
No?
I
No.
have not. It's the first
I
time.
feel like why haven't I feel like we've did this before.
Because
Oh, you know what?
we
Because
know
we've
her?
like pushed this back like 1,000 times, I think.
This is like time like attempt number 3, but we finally got it. So anyways,
why. I've seen you on my calendar for the podcast on multiple occasions. So it just feels that we did this before.
Anyways, welcome Irina Constantin. She is a co-founder and CEO of Vaunt, which is a really cool proptech company. Originally out of Romania and now here in New York. So welcome
Excited
to the show.
to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks
for the first time, apparently.
Coming. Yeah. It's okay.
For the
Maybe
first time.
Mags will edit it out, or she'll leave it if it's
No,
funny.
leave that in. That's good. That's good stuff.
That's funny.
By the way, before we start, let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go.
Knicks won a championship. We have to throw a shout out on every single outlet in the world. So yeah, it's a fun time in New York.
I mean, it was a little hectic yesterday with the parade and shit. It was like people were like blocked. So I was like by Penn Station. So people were like taking pictures with the stupid the entrance to the train that they were colored in Mets colors. And I was like, you guys are in my way taking selfies and I'm trying to get on the train. Get the fuck out of the way. And I felt like that was the most New York experience.
New York
like
thing
to be
ever.
like New Yorkers are so proud that they're like, and so happy. They're all wearing Knicks shit, taking pictures in front of like the Knicks painted train. And I'm like, get the fuck out of the way.
That is the most New York thing ever. I'm busy. Just get out of my way.
Which is why I didn't go to the parade. It's like,
but
I'm
that
busy.
wasn't even the parade. It was just by like MSG, right? Because I was at Penn Station.
It's like I'm too busy to enjoy the fun, but also it was like 4 million people trying to like pack a 5-block like.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think they said it ended up being 2 million people, but that's still a shit ton of people in like
Still a lot of people.
FIDI, the most people FIDI ever gets.
Thank
Anyways,
God.
okay. So, Irina, tell us and the world about you, about Vaunt, about your journey, all that good stuff.
Sure. So something really fun. The country that I come from originally, 96% of the population is a homeowner. When I tell this to people, they're like, "What? How is that even possible?" But yeah, 96%. Now in the major cities, I feel like it went down to 70%. So you could say like real estate is part of like my culture. Well, so my background is as a software engineer. I studied that and then I got bored in school and started the company with somebody else and who is also my co-founder and another friend that we had. And we did different types of apps. And somewhere at the end of 2020, we landed on real estate because we did a custom software for a real estate developer. And we realized there was a huge opportunity because there is a gap in the market. And we oftentimes talk about it. Like the current existing solutions are not that great in order to, manage transactions like rentals or sales processes, handle inventory, and all of the things that they're done in a business. So we started out originally in Romania. We ended up having like 20% of the market. Bootstrap, we didn't raise any type of capital. And our goal has always been to build a global company with a global impact. And we thought that would be a good way to do things differently since both my co-founder and I don't come from inside the industry. We come outside from the industry. So that means we have a different perspective so we can work together with people like yourselves and other people in the industry to make it better. And something really, really fun that we've discovered is that there is a lot of overlap in how real estate is done in Europe and the States as well. The only differences that are there are the nuances, like the naming. We talked about it previously. Like we have a thing that it's called offering, which is not an offering. It's more like a presentation, a showcasing of different types of listings. But in the United States, is legally binding if you say offering. So the wording has been quite interesting to navigate. When what else you want to? I
That's
don't know.
pretty cool. So, when did you guys decide to expand to New York, and why New York of all cities?
Well, that's an interesting story, actually, because when we decided we wanted to expand to the United States, we weren't sure specifically what state, so we just did like a business trip. Tech Week
Hmm.
that was in New York as well. Originally, A16Z started it in LA. So we went for that at first. So we went to San Francisco because I have some friends who work at companies there, and we stayed with them and then went to LA. So we attended the LA one, and then we went to SF and tried to network, go to different events, talk to people. And our current advisor, that is our advisor at Vaunt, told us, hey, don't you also want to come to the East Coast and stay here for a week, go to some events, meet in person, see how you like it? And when we came to New York, we actually fell in love with the city, with the way people do business and people talk about business. So we thought, okay, out of all the places we've been to, I think New York is the place to be. And this is how we landed in New York. But if it weren't for him, I'm not sure if at first we would have come to New York.
That's interesting.
Well, thank
So,
you. We love it, obviously.
yeah,
You
but I'm
know,
I'm I'm curious to know from um an outsider's perspective. How did you feel about SF versus LA? And what really stood out specifically about New York, aside of like how we do business, but like what specifically?
pizza.
So I'm just curious, like to see if you could, if what you're picking up from those three different places.
So I think so far, because I've been in multiple states now in the US, like I've been to Texas as well. I've been to Las Vegas and other places. I feel like United States is a country made out of separate states that operate on different beliefs and cultures. And I've seen that between SF and LA. SF, it's a great place for technology in order to get hyped, in order to work at big companies. But I feel like it's very niche for a niche type of companies. And sometimes I would feel personally like there's a lot of exposure in terms of technology, but there wasn't a lot of exposure in terms of real problems. Like I'm building for real estate. Real estate is a real world. It's the built world. It's the world in front of us. I need to talk to people to be able to build my business. If I would go to SF, I would talk to technology people, and I'm already a
Mm-hmm.
technology person. So how can I solve real estate problems in the
Mm-hmm.
real world if I spend time with
It's like
technology
an echo
people?
chamber. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And LA, it was very so LA, I think it was too big in terms of like getting from one place to another. So that made it very difficult in terms of getting in front of your customer or talking to people because I think, have you been to LA? Yeah,
I haven't.
you, you spend like 4 hours in the car just trying to get to one place to another. Like Santa Monica is not the same with Pasadena. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the same with Hollywood. It's not the same with Beverly Hills. And it's very difficult to network there, and some of my friends that live there tell me it's quite difficult to create a network. If you work into entertainment industry, sure, there are places where you can go, but if you wanted to specifically business in the domain that we do, it would have been a bit more difficult. So what I liked about New York is the fact that it moves much faster than both of these places, even compared to SF. There's also a lot of people, it's very diverse culturally, the way you think, the way you do business. Everybody moves incredibly fast. And it's easy to get in front of my customers. Like it's very easy just to walk and bump into people, even though New York is very, very big. It is very small at the time. Um, and it's easy to get in front of them and talk to them. Like there's a lot of proximity to people. You can get on the train and get to different places. And I think for starters, that was very useful for us because in SF, I would be very much car dependent. In LA, even more than that. And it was hard to get in front of people. So it
Yeah.
wasn't as suitable for the type of business that we wanted to build. But at the same time, I don't think it fit my lifestyle as well. Like I wasn't, so for me, culturally speaking, it was a bit different. Like us Romanians, we like our cars, but I'm also a city person. I like to be inside of a city. I like urban planning, buildings. I am not a fan of, being inside a car all day long and having to spend half of my day just stuck in traffic.
Yeah. I feel that. I mean, coming from Miami, we spent a lot of time sitting in traffic. Um, but it's interesting that from as an outsider, like you were able to kind of pick up on the fact that SF is very like technology focused, right? It's mostly technologists and a lot of hype. Because I've talked to a few different founders and investors, and I like to understand from everybody's perspective, like because New York and SF are constantly pitted against each other, especially like in the tech world, right? And um, one thing that I like New Yorkers, I think especially investors are like super proud of, um, are like because it's like a finance town. They're more, I guess like they care more about the details, especially when like founders are raising and they're looking at like, okay, how do you expect to make this money? Whereas um in SF, it's more of like, oh wow, like yeah, you could be a unicorn just because, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
um it's all about the hype rather than like what's actually behind the curtains, like what's actually going on. Um so I think that that's really interesting
Yeah.
um as like a concept, right? Like people are just like, well, we really care like how are you going to make money? And so I wonder if long term if that's going to make a difference like
I think
in
it will. I think it will because one of the things that so it's funny because I was talking to my co-founder like Bucharest which is the capital of Romania. It's much smaller but very similar in terms of New York how people do business and operate. Like it's the type of business that pulls in all the talent like New York does from other states just to go there and create connections, grow as a business or as a company. And I saw a lot of overlap, and I think it was also familiar to me as a person and the way that I operate. And this is one of the things that I was discussing with my advisor and other people that encouraged me to try to come to New York. It was the fact that if you're really going to build a very much legit business, you're going to know in New York in 2 months' time if it's going to work or not.
yeah, fair. Tell me about your experience moving to New York.
So, well, that is very fun because so expanding a company from Europe to US, it's another beast. Like you have very complete regulation. Sure, there's treaties between us and the United States, but there are a lot of things you need to take into consideration because you got to open up a company, which is fairly easy because you can do it online. But there are a lot of things that you are not aware of, which is like every state operates differently. In every state you operate in, you need to pay taxes. If you have customers in different states, you need to get also a license of business in that state. And
Mhm.
as you build a business, you gotta be make sure that the way you build your product, serves the needs and the regulations of that specific states. So it's interesting because you have to, figure out like the taxation form, the way you structure your company, and also let's not talk about like real estate or finding an office or understanding how to navigate the process of, moving a company or moving yourself as a founder to that area to do business. Like when we first started coming to the States, Airbnb was not banned. So we were able to get Airbnbs for shorter stays. Let's say I would come for 2 weeks. Was able to rent through Airbnb and stay at somebody's place because the hotels were incredibly expensive during that time. So Airbnbs were more accessible. And other than that, you got to figure out the city, figure out where you want to be, figure out the system. And as you guys also operate on the relocation side, most of the time, and we've been talking about it, you have to do a lot of education of how that process works because when you first come, you think, oh, everybody says, oh, this city is beautiful, I'm gonna move just like that. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. And you expect it to say, oh, the fee, the rental is going to be this, so maybe I need to pay double the amount, and that's it. You don't take into consideration all the things that go into, maybe getting your own place or doing rentals, or make sure you don't have a lot of hidden fees, because it's one of the things that I've discovered personally as a European founder is that there are a lot of hidden fees. That you need to find out about.
I'm a born and raised New Yorker, and Rachel can tell you this. Me and my wife been trying to move for the last 3 months now, I think,
Wow.
almost.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we have the places, like we have the apartment to like just move into. Just finding the time, like getting everything together. It's moving is not easy for anyone, whether it's like you're coming internationally or you're just like trying to like move from one borough to the next. Which kind of almost feels like international because I'm gonna have to have half her stuff shipped like across the river. I don't know.
Wow.
But no,
Yeah.
like it's a daunting task sometimes. And every time I'm like, yeah, today's the day we're gonna get more stuff done. There's something else that needs to get done, whether it be for like the company or just like personal social life. Where I was telling you earlier, like before we started, it was like, yeah, like the month of June is a very, very busy month, not only for work, but like socially. It's like so many engagements that you have to get to.
Hmm.
It's tough. That even my best friend and like co-founder, I have to get on her calendar to get hangout time.
Yes. Everybody has to get on my calendar. Otherwise, it ain't happening. Well,
No, I
also,
agree.
I've got kids now, so it's even harder. Like, I can't even go show, like, so I have this client that's moving from Israel, and he's gonna be in town, or he is in town this week, and he wanted to go see some properties this weekend in Hoboken, and I was like, okay, maybe I can make that happen, and if I can't, like, then I can send somebody on my team to go. It's not hard. And then I realized, oh, it's Father's Day weekend, so Sunday's out for most people. And some of our team are like probably like going away, or like, if their family's not here. Um, so that means Josh is picking up the slack.
I can't. I have a charity walk.
Right. And I
Wow.
have my daughter's soccer tournament that's Saturday and Sunday. And then I finally got, like, yesterday, I think it was, I finally saw the schedule for the soccer tournament, like, to see what time our games were. And I was like, oh, okay. Layla's first game is until 4 o'clock. So I texted my wife and I was like, hey, do you think I can make it to like Hoboken in the morning and be back in time, like a couple hours before we need to leave? And she's like, I don't think it's a problem, but if there's a game at MetLife because it's the World Cup, like, you're shit out of luck
You're
because people are starting to get there like at noon for an 8 o'clock game or like whatever it was. And I checked and there was an 8 o'clock game. So I was like, I'm not even gonna chance it. Like, because she was like, oh, you could just start checking traffic earlier. And I'm like, no, thank you.
yeah.
Like, it's not that important for me to go show. Like, I made the appointments. He can go on his own. It's fine. Like, yes, it's like I would prefer to be there, but like I'm not gonna like screw up my kid's soccer tournament. So
This is
yeah,
why
it
you
is it
guys
is
move to
about
New
getting
York.
on the
You move
calendar.
back to the city and you have your soccer tournaments in Central Park and you take the train everywhere.
Tell that to the other parent, which will remain nameless.
So but like, this is the difference where we're talking about, let's say like lifestyle conditions, right? Lifestyle living, right?
Mhm.
Where she's just right across the river and it's different. Like it's so different
It's so
It's
different.
the way she has to travel compared to the way I would travel like on a weekend. Like, yeah, the trains are going to be a little bit slower. It's going to be a little bit more like full because, you know, there are more people moving about. But essentially, there's still going to be trains that are going to get you from, let's say your commute was 30 minutes. Now maybe it's like 45 minutes. Um, which is not 4 hours sitting in traffic in like a place like LA.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I can say that even with Tech Week, like I've done Tech Week in LA, and it was I very much underestimated how long it would take me to get to one place to another. And in New
Yeah.
York, it's fairly easy, right? Like you get
Yeah.
on a train and try to go to
And
places.
most of the things in Tech Week in New York are kind of close to each other anyway.
Yeah, that's great. This is like great for business, but also I think there are, you know, you got to think if you want to raise a family in the city, probably looks different. I don't have kids, so I'm not in that category. So I guess I'm a bit more flexible. But I assume if you have kids, it's very different.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that have kids in the city and it's different, but it's still like, okay, we're getting on the train, we're doing this, we're going here, we're going that. I think it's actually like somewhat easier. Um, the only thing that's difficult is that you have to carry all your shit. So if like you have like a
Yeah,
young kid or a baby, like that's harder. But like kids our age would be a lot easier to navigate because we could just like hop on and hop off. And we do bring the kids into the city like as often as we can so that they can like learn it and get acclimated to it.
And I
Um,
think as a kid that grew up here, it was just like you got a little bit more independent faster, right? Where I was
mhm.
like
hmm
allowed to take the train to certain places by myself rather than, let's say, my brother or Rachel, where like they have to like drive their kids to the mall, to like, let's say, to
yeah,
the movie theater. They have to take them to friends' houses, like all these
Yeah.
things. Where here, growing up, it was like, all right, I'll just hop on my bike and go to my buddy's house and like hang out. Or I could just like walk, you know, to like the main avenue and you have like the stores and stuff like that that I could get myself to at an age before I could actually drive. Um, you know, there's a give and take in it. Like I get like I see my nieces and nephews who like get the to get on the school bus every day. Like my
Mm,
school bus was different. My school bus had like people going to work.
yeah.
You know, it was the
yeah.
real bus. um, so it's like I had like a somewhat similar experience, but I feel like I just like kids here become very independent at an
hmm
earlier age.
Which it could be a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like it just depends. Some people are like, well, I don't want my kids to be independent so young, right? And some people are like, well, we want them to be more independent. Um, so it's a give and take, right? It's all about trade-offs. But talking about the train just remind me of like was recently in Barcelona. Irina was there with me. But we Danny and I were waiting for the metro because that's what they call their subway there. And we're like it pulls into the station and we're just standing staring at the doors like waiting for them to open. There and then somebody like just like kind of like put their hand in front and like there's like a latch where they had to like push down so that the doors would open.
But you have to do
Yeah,
work.
You have to do work to get on the
I have
train
to
and to
touch.
get off
yeah,
to
yeah,
get off the
yeah.
I have
train
to like
too.
touch things.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah, it was
complete
Absolutely
so
no-no
weird.
not.
in New York. You wouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna
I
touch
wouldn't
the
like the
door.
door should fucking open. The fuck? Also, like I was reading like that it's like it runs until like 2 in the morning, I think, from like and then like um
Two
but
in
it
the
does
morning. Wow.
run continuously from like I think it was Saturday through Sunday it was 24 hours, but then every other night was like until like 12 or 2 a.m. or something, which
Damn,
is
that's a tough one.
like what are you supposed to do? Be home at a certain
Not
time or you just
not
like
be like be home. Yes, be home.
I mean, I don't think
Guys,
they are, right? Because it's Spain. They're out until whatever
Or
time.
drive.
But
I'm
like
like
what?
guys,
taxi.
in
They have to have
Romania, it's
Uber.
11 p.m.
11
11.
p.m.
Yeah, after
So what
that,
happens on like New Year's or something?
you just walk. I don't know. You just walk, but yeah, it's different. Once you experience that and you end up, coming from, you know how it is. You go out for a business meeting and somehow you get to have drinks with your clients and end up
Mhm,
at 3
mhm.
a.m. Uh, and
Yep,
then
yep,
how
yep,
are
been
you going to
there.
get back home? Yeah. So in terms of
Hop on the
like
train.
infrastructure, I think like, sure, New York is not perfect. Like it happened to me to wait 180 minutes because my train was not there. They had some problems, but it's
180 minutes.
I was like,
180
I had to try to
minutes.
convert that. I was like, oh man, that's
So
like
like
3
2
hours.
hours
That's
and
3
40
it's 3 hours.
it's close to 3. Yeah, yeah.
No, isn't
So
it?
No, it is
No, it's
actually three
exactly
hours.
because it's
3
18.
yeah. So
Yep.
it happens, right? It's not perfect, but I think it's one of the best infrastructures in terms of how the train operates inside of a
Yeah.
city. So, which is very different from other states in America where you are very car dependent.
Yeah, but also, like, our train, like, we talk a lot of shit about our train, right? They're old, like, they need to be updated, they're dirty, and then, like, going to Europe, like, they're cleaner, they, like, run more on time, but of course, like, there's less people that's using it every day. But, like, I mean, we definitely need to upgrade our subway
Yeah.
system because if it was at the level as, like, European subways, it would be the best, like, because not only does it run 24 hours, but it would have, like, the best train like, all these other trains are, like, they're completely open. You don't have to, like, walk between cars, right? Like, they're just open. And that's something that they're trying to bring, because then you can fit more people.
You can see it
Hmm.
on the bus. Like it started with the buses.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
Well,
here,
difference
here,
like
there.
but it's again, it's been
no,
there
I
for a
like
lot longer.
100%. But like in my like reach to me, to me, you're a newbie. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you've been here a while,
10
but
years.
like I remember the trains when like you look at the documentaries of old New York where it's like all the graffiti. Like I remember riding in those trains. So to
Yeah.
Wow.
see, like to remember New York with how dirty it was in a certain space. And yes, it's still disgusting and dirty, but I have to acknowledge like, okay, like they actually have cleaned up a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You look at
But I
42nd
think
Street and what's happened
yeah.
there. And the other thing is it's tough because there were two separate train systems,
Right, right,
right?
right, right. Yeah,
Like
we're two
when it
they're
first started, it was
different.
two. So when they made it one, it's just cheaper
One's
to keep
wider.
it the way it is rather than trying to convert all of like the subway lines.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, that's why we have the numbered versus the lettered, right? Because the
Yeah.
numbered one was one station, they were, like, thinner tunnels, and the other one was bigger. Um, but Josh, I'm not discounting the evolution of New York City in the time that you've been living or in general. But if you take the evolution of New York City and its transit or technology in general in the United States versus the evolution of that in Europe, we are at a
far behind.
dwarf's pace.
Sure.
At
But
the
then I
pace, at the pace,
but then
right?
I
Like
think it's like what you said earlier, where it's like, well, we just have way too many people all the time. And
y-
these
yes
trains
and
have
no.
just run 24 hours since the beginning of like time, I feel.
It's actually a lot more to do with regulations. So in general, like if you're looking at technology, right? So like in Europe, they don't like okay. Any European that comes to the United States, forget New York City, to the United States, and they go to a restaurant, okay? You are like, okay, they come and bring you the bill, you put your card, they take it away. Every European that comes here for the first time is like, where the fuck are you taking my credit card?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
They come to
It's
you
true. You
with
pay
a
at the
terminal.
table. Yeah, you
Yeah,
pay at
Yeah.
the table.
right?
And also the
That
fact that you have credit cards and we use debit cards, which is different.
well, we have debit cards too, and poor people use those. Um, just
Yeah.
kidding.
No, but
No,
we
but
Um,
don't
like I understand that we're like,
theirs.
yeah, you don't use
the
credit.
international people like they're like, what credit? Hell no. Like, no.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, if you use credit properly, I'm a huge proponent of it because that's what
No, it's great. I
rich
think
people don't
one
ever
of the
use their own
things
money.
I think one of the reasons like European founders like myself come to the United States and expand their business or build a business here is because in this sense, I feel like America encourages businesses to develop and gives you way to develop your business. And also the financial system is very complicated. But if you know and you try to understand it, you can also benefit yourself and help other people that work for you benefit from it. Which
Hmm.
this is something that I really appreciate about America.
Yeah. It
I want to touch
there's
back on something that you said earlier, where when you were talking about reasons to like have the company here,
Yeah.
like base it out of like New York. It's very similar to why like lifestyles that people want in their everyday life, right? It's a reason for moving. Whereas like why would I choose to live in New York? For a lot of the same reasons a person would choose to like try to build a business and like grow a business. Um the fact like we've been talking about the trains, how like you could get the next client quickly. People ask me all the time, like, oh, when you like show your apartments, like, are you driving? I was like, are you kidding me? If I like, I would only have one
Why
client a
would you
day,
do that?
like, because I would spend all my time either in traffic or looking for parking.
Yeah.
And we're not rich enough to like put a car in a parking lot every time you have to like park it. So yeah, it's funny. I never really thought about it until you kind of said it like that, where I'm from New York. She lived in New York. It was just obvious that we're gonna like start our business here. But now when I think about it, it's like, yeah, it's whenever we start talking about trying to like expand and like do business in other states, we always have to talk about like, oh, how are we gonna get from building to building, how property to property, like the logistics of, moving around. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just kind of interesting.
I mean, it's that's why I think in my theory, New York has a lot of economical growth. That's why they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere because you can come as somebody who doesn't have a lot of money and make a name for yourself because it has the infrastructure to basically do that, right? If you would go to another state, you would be car dependent. If you cannot afford a car, you cannot get to opportunities. But here you can go on a train and just get to places.
I love it. I'm always
I
advocate
also
of New
love
York.
I miss that because I now live in stupid Jersey.
It's
You can
lovely.
Really,
come back.
I think I saw grass at one
I'm allergic to grass. Literally allergic to grass.
point.
Um, no, I really miss it. Like, so a lot of people, like, especially in Jersey, are like, oh, you work in the city, like, do you take like the New Jersey Transit train or the bus? And I'm like, I don't. I stay the far as fuck away from those things because they're on a time schedule, right?
Yes.
Like, they run at 8:33 and then 9:03, right? Like something stupid, ridiculous like that. And when I first moved to New York and I started working in an office, I noticed that people would like run out of the office at like 4:58 because they needed to make their 5:17 train.
Yeah.
And I was like, so when I moved out here, I was like, that's not going to be me. I don't like, I need to be able to just live my life on my schedule, which is why I found like the best way is like to take that little jitney bus, which runs every 10 minutes, right? Obviously, it stops running at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but it runs every 10 minutes and it takes me straight over the bridge to the A train, which again is not on a time schedule. It just runs. Um, so while that commute might sometimes take me longer, it's way more efficient in the aggregate, right? Because I don't have to like plan my life accordingly. And then if I do stay out and have drinks with a client or whatnot, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave, right? Because I have to catch my train. It's a freedom. I think it's a freedom that you have in New York where you're just like, I know I'm always going to catch a train. Okay, maybe it won't be in 10 minutes because now it's like after midnight and it'll be 20 minutes, but I'll still get it. Whereas like, oh, it's after midnight, I'm asked out, I have to take a cab now.
Yeah. I get it. But no, this is like I think for a European founder, New York is can be inspiring and familiar at the same time because
Mhm.
I don't know how this is gonna come out, but New York feels European in a way. because we're
Mm.
used to big cities and we're used to tall buildings. Sure, not that tall, but tall buildings. We're used to having financial districts, transport, and also cultural. It's also cultural. You have a lot of cultures inside New York, which makes it feel European in a way. One thing that I don't think people talk enough about, especially when you want to expand into the States, you have the advantage of the time zone. Like if
Mhm.
you operate from New York, you're closer to Europe than you are with San Francisco. When I was in San Francisco or LA, it was very difficult to talk to my team who was based in Europe.
Mhm.
It was very hard to time saying, sure, we would stay up, but it would be weird. And I think New York is the sweet spot in between the two states because I can have customers on the other coast, but also talk to my
Mhm.
customers in Europe as well. So that works out for a business, in my opinion.
Yeah. I I would agree. I think like with like some of the Israeli founders that we worked with, it's the same thing for them. They're like they won't go to the West Coast. They'll go to either New York or Boston or Miami,
Hmm.
but mostly the
Yeah,
two because it's a lot closer to the rest of their team, right? Like it's the closest that they'll get in terms of the time zone. And it makes you more efficient. Like I think during COVID, we was talking about like remote work and async work, and I totally believe that you can do async work, right? Not everything requires you to be working at the same exact time as your coworker, but there are some things that do need to be done in the same time. And so
exactly.
if you're too far away, right, in time zone, it's much harder to do.
Yeah, I agree. And like I was saying, I run a tech company, but I operate in real estate. I talk to my clients all the time. I talk to my team all the time. So I got to be on for them and not to
Mhm.
be, I also need to sleep. So
Do you
What?
sleep? I don't sleep.
sometimes,
No, I'm just kidding. I sleep
sometimes,
really good.
Listen, that's what we have
sometimes
the
it's,
subway for now. No, I'm
So you could
joking.
sleep on the
oh
subway?
my God, you do that on the train? You're brave.
Yeah. I've been
The,
sleeping. What?
but
It's
the police comes to you and
this is
wakes
how
you
you
up.
know how. I have a great story where I used to take I used to work at like the top of the Bronx, like the most like northern part of the Bronx. And I lived in, lower part of Manhattan, and I was dating somebody that was living in Brooklyn. So getting to work on the subway was like a 2 hour like
Yeah.
journey every day. You know how
Wow.
much sleep I got on that bad boy? You know how many I think I've read more books on that subway than I did when I went to school. So yeah.
Hey.
You do like that's when you catch up on your rest. I've met many lovely people that have let me like use their shoulder and not bother. New Yorkers are lovely. We're not as
New
mean as
Yorkers are
everyone
lovely
thinks.
people.
We're lovely
Yeah.
people.
Um, and you're gonna know cops don't necessarily wake you up unless you look like a bum.
Well, that's happened to me as
Okay.
well.
Okay, because when I was on the train, we would have cops coming in and wake up people that were sleeping and say, "Oh, take care of your bag," or "Wake up, don't sleep on the train."
Yeah, they do it if you look like a bum, if you're like leaving your shit everywhere, like you're becoming a problem. But if you're just sleeping, they're not gonna wake you up.
Okay,
I have
I did.
slept many a time on the train, and
And you,
there's like this magical moment where you are asleep
And
and
then
you
you get up.
just know my stop is here. I gotta get up.
That's
And
the
you're just like up.
best.
wow,
That's how
wow,
you know
It's
you're in sync with
yeah,
with the
you're in
city.
sync with the city.
it's just you're literally like, all right, get up. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, but then Josh has a story about him not finding that magical moment
Oh, I
over and
like
over
Oh,
and over again.
I was so tired one time. I fell asleep, missed my stop, like wake up and the doors are closing. I'm like, damn it. Go to the next
oh,
stop and I have to come back because I couldn't walk it because it was such a like long like
yeah.
stop. Um I get on the next train coming back, fall asleep again. I'm like, mother. Mm. Coming back, I had to stand up. I was like, there's no way I could fall asleep if I'm standing up. And I almost fell asleep as well. But whatever. So yeah, I've experienced all the spectrum of the sleeping on the train. Um, I've made stupid mistakes and like after a night of drinking, I was like, you know what? Let me take the train. It's cheaper. Why not? and then wake up 9 o'clock in the morning in like rush hour on, a train in Brooklyn. Like,
Oh
oh,
shit.
I'm like, oh, I have all my stuff. Thank you, Jesus. And
You should get
That
fucking
sucks.
robbed.
and get off the train. But yeah,
Yeah, well,
now I'm a little bit older. I'm a little bit wiser. I'm not trying to put myself in those situations. So if I'm kind of tired, I'm only going to take an Uber because the Uber is going to scream at you like, get out my
Get the
car,
fuck
guy.
out. Yeah.
get out of. Also, I want to say, like, New York is pretty safe, and this is a question that I get from a lot of people, like, how is New York? And New York is very safe, and I say that because as a European, you kind of want to walk to places, and when I was in SF, I had some bad experiences going into downtown and walking there because they do have a big problem with homelessness, and it's also like the same in LA. Like this was the difference, like a cultural shock coming from Europe. You would go to downtown, and downtown is like the historical place. It's very beautiful. But if you go to downtown LA or downtown SF, it's not kind of the same. It's a different type of
Grimy.
world. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. And New York, it's not that way. I have never felt unsafe in that city. And I use the train at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and nothing weird happened to
Yeah.
me ever.
So there's two things that you said I wanted to touch on. Um, One is New York is really safe, even though people think that it's not. So I think also like a few people before I went to Barcelona were like, "Hey, Barcelona is not safe," and I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Well, there's lots of pickpockets and like, don't you leave your phone out?" And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I feel like there's pickpockets in Times Square.
Yeah,
It's
well,
everywhere. Yeah.
I'm like, I come from a big city, so I'm expecting other places.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's why when I go places, I'm like, oh, this place is so cute. It's like a smaller version of New York.
Yeah.
Because when you go to these cities, like yeah, city looks like kind of like a city, and there's like a
Well,
flow to
yes.
it.
I will say there's one difference. So like in Bogota, right? Like everybody rides motorcycles,
Hmm.
like little crotch rockets. And if you're standing on the side of the street, right, and you have your phone out in your hand like this, right, you're very likely going to get that snatched by somebody on a motorcycle just like driving by, right? Um, so in that sense, right, like that won't happen here necessarily. But I guess it does happen in other places. So there's like some level of safety, I guess, or security that we have. But in general, like just like Josh, what you tell people and what I tell people like that are moving to New York and they're like, "Oh, is this neighborhood safe?" It's like just don't be stupid and yeah, it's safe.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
just have your wits about you. It doesn't matter if you're on the Upper West Side. Shit can still happen, right? So just don't be an idiot. And then the other thing that you said, Irina, was because you're European, you like to walk. Can you tell me what the fuck is up with Europeans? And like they are so proud of how much they walk, and it's really obnoxious because like in New York we walk. So like, why is it so
Yeah.
different? What?
I don't think it's different. I think it's
Get
just
those
like
steps in.
people like to move around. Like I remember when I was a kid, our activity was to go to the park, so we'd have to walk through there. We wouldn't get on train, on a bus or anything to get there. So we would walk. It would be like an activity. So it's part of the culture, I would say. And I think there is this misconception because the World Cup was in the States, and we had a lot of Europeans coming into America and say, "Oh, America, it's not how I expected it to be. It's actually a very welcoming place. People are so nice. The city is so beautiful." And I think there are misconceptions like how America is because sure you have certain cities where you cannot get from one place to another, or you don't have like a pedestrian place where you can go through. So probably that is one of the reasons. Um, and yeah, I think so.
Interesting. But like, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was gonna touch on what you were saying. How coming as an international person, you come to New York and you're like, oh, this does kind of have like a European feel, but it's also
Yes.
like designed that way. Like all the kind of new things that they're implementing in like the urban design, as far as it like the bike lane, that is a very very new thing. As even though we've had it for some time now, that's pretty recent that we started that, and that is a it does look European. The same thing where they're making like walk areas, and Rachel's has seen this where they're changing, traffic, lanes and stuff like that to have more, walking space for people. I think it is a design, like it's a targeted
It's by
design because
design.
yeah, we the people who run New York, and understanding that we want more businesses to come here. This is an international city. We need to have everyone feel kind of comfortable, and that's the easiest way to like make you feel comfortable is, have things that remind you of your home that you're accustomed to, so you could settle, like make some roots here and build businesses. And you know that's how New York keeps growing.
Yeah, I think you're right, and also I think it's one of the cities that it's not just for making business strictly or being an echo chamber. It's also a place where you can live and enjoy your life. And
Hmm.
you have a lot of activities to do, like going on Broadway. It's a amazing activity that I recommend it to everybody, or going to Central Park or doing different things. And I think this is what keeps it keeps the growing ecosystem of businesses, because one thing that I heard about a VC, and it actually a VC was saying, and it stood out to me, you cannot build a company if you are a shell of a person. So if you
Hmm.
just do one specific thing and you don't have your own life, how are you going to be creative or build something with your business or make an impact in a certain way if you don't live inside of a busy
For sure.
city, or uh, and it's also interesting because I think New York, because you have so much density and population, there is so much opportunity in terms of you can see different problems of the cities around. You can easily talk to people. And you, as a founder, if you're doing tech or a product, you can come up with something and test it out and see if it actually solves a problem.
Very, very interesting. All right. I think we are at the end of this. So, Josh, what do we do? Oh,
And
Arena.
what do we do? Slowly try to take over the world in a good way.
Uh,
Touch people's hearts, make wonderful connections. That's kind of what we do in a nutshell. Um,
that's not what I meant, though.
no, I know. This is what we do. I mean, to tell the people
There
where
you
they
go.
could find you. This is like your plug, like all the social media stuff. Um, yeah, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram is Irina at Constantine at CEO, and also can find me on LinkedIn and vontos.com. I also run a newsletter. It's called From Zero to 100. And I actually share all the ins and outs of building and expanding a company from Europe to US. I'm going to get
Very cool.
actually into more the legal stuff, like the things you can expect. And also would love to have you guys on to have a crossover and discuss of if
Hell yeah.
people are looking to relocate to New York, what do you need to know? Because
A
or
lot.
start a business, because this would have been extremely useful for me when I first started out, and there are a lot of things to know. So yeah, and more than
See,
that,
but now
keep
you
on
have
building.
us. Now you have
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the access to
So,
Yes.
so
us.
as Josh would say, if you're moving to New York, what do you need to know? You need to know us. That's it. You just need to
Facts.
You need
know
to know
Okay.
Pinpoint.
Pinpoint. That's it.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's it.
Thank you
Rach,
so
where
much.
can the people find you?
Yeah. All over the place. Yeah.
At a
So
networking event near you.
networking events. Lots of
Probably by
networking
the
events.
bar. No, joking.
Yes, always by the bar. Okay, so on LinkedIn, Rachel Fiegler. Um, and on our website, Pinpointe.nyc. The company is also on Pinpoint Group on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube.
So like everything, subscribe to everything. Shout outs to Mags. Like we love you.
Mags, love you
Um,
always. Thank you for
that does
editing our garbage.
all our good stuff that you see out there. Yeah, the people can find me on Josh Hernandez, LinkedIn. I'm not really a, you know, IG person. Uh, but in the most important places, they can find me in these streets, trying to make these deals, trying to make these like wonderful connections, because that's what we're really about.
That's right.
Thank you guys. Like, thank you.
Irina,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on. This was fun.
Thank you. This was very fun.
Let's do this
Josh,
again
wait.
without rescheduling 17
Yeah, but
times.
Josh, but wait 1 second, because you started off by saying like, what are we gonna talk about, right? I don't know if it was like before the recording or not, but and I was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So I think we figured it out, right? We just kind of talked about a bunch of shit.
Just gonna start talking and plugging New York. Honestly, I'm gonna start. We have to send this one
It
to the
was really
mayor
a plug for
because
New York.
this was a New York plug if I ever seen one. Shout out to the mayor and the Knicks and everyone else that loves New York, because we do too. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Peace.